Finally, a Christmas movie that will make you want to throw yourself right off the roof with Frosty.
Wow, that's a little harsh, don't you think?
No, not even a little bit. Christmas with the Kranks sucks.
I mean,
it's not the worst movie ever.
yeah, it's
right?
an irritating movie, but I have to say it's growing on me a little bit. I'm Stockholmed with it.
Nah,
You've showed it
unfortunately.
to me too many
God,
times.
what have I done? Well, welcome back to another unfortunate case of movie soulmates. My name's SoulKeever.
And I'm Astrid.
And of course, we just watched Christmas with the Kranks for, I've lost count. Why have I watched this movie so many times? It's not good.
I don't know. What have you shown it to me? Like maybe 4 times? Or
Something
have you
like-
shown it to me all 6 years?
God almighty, I don't know. I think we've seen it like at least like a half a dozen times, and I've seen it half a dozen times before I met you. So why have I seen this god-forsaken movie so many times? Why is it turned into like this low-tier comedy classic? It's not deserving of that status.
Yeah, why have you made us watch this? I mean, yeah, it's
I don't
it's
know.
fine. It's a fine movie, but it's irritating, and it's extra irritating the first time you see it when you're not prepared for these neighbors to be such jerks.
Oy. So, yeah, I guess that's my take on it. I don't really like it that well. It's really irritating.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is completely immoral.
Uh-huh.
Why do we like it so much?
Right?
Because it's got some funny moments, I guess. Like maybe it's like the cheer or the charm of Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis together.
Yeah, they're the best parts, for sure.
Because if it wasn't for them, this movie would just be a ripe
Right?
turd nestled on the mantelpiece of Christmas.
Mm-hmm. I honestly wish they'd gotten more screen time than they did. And, like, don't get me wrong, they get plenty of screen time. But, like, I wish they'd gotten to propel more of the comedy as opposed to the neighbors creating all of the situations.
I wish that the movie didn't do an abrupt turn in tone around halfway through. It was my problem with it.
Yeah, also fair. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you know what really kills me also is that this movie was written by Chris Columbus, who...
Knows how to write a good movie.
Yes, and you know what he directed? Home Alone.
Uh-huh.
And Adventures in Babysitting. And Mrs. Doubtfire. This guy knows how to direct a movie.
Uh-huh.
So, if he had actually directed this movie, I think it would have been a lot better.
Different, yeah. Interesting.
He also wrote Jingle All the Way, I think.
A fine Christmas classic of the highest caliber.
Yeah, he loves Christmas, this guy. So, I really wish he would have directed both this and Jingle All the Way, because then they probably would have been pretty good movies, because he's a really competent director. He did Home Alone, he did Home Alone 2. Like I said, Mrs. Doubtfire, Adventures in Babysitting. This guy's resume is not too shabby.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. But instead, we got this.
This.
And now I want to join Frosty in hell.
What did you think it was going to be before you saw it for the first of these dozen times?
You know what? I think I thought it was actually I thought that they might actually follow through with their plans, but they'd overcome more adversity to finally get to their plans.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'd encounter some kind of snafu where maybe the neighbors would come in and like just completely sabotage their vacation plans.
Yeah.
To keep them from going, so they'd have to put Frosty on the roof and all that nonsense. And
right.
go through with all their traditions. But in the end, the Kranks would be victorious and they would get their cruise, their Caribbean Christmas or whatever they want.
Yeah. That's I guess kind of what I thought it was going to be too. Like I thought they were going to get to go on their cruise because like all of the commercials were like, we're going to skip Christmas and go on a cruise.
I didn't think it was going to be a complete cop-out. That sucked.
I thought it was going to be like that the moral lesson of the movie was going to be like, let people, people are different, let people celebrate or not celebrate the way that they want. And like some people, people deal with grief in different ways. And like, obviously they didn't like lose anybody, but they got
empty nest syndrome.
Yeah, they're dealing with empty nest syndrome. And a lot of people, deal with that in different ways and travel when that happens. So I wish that maybe their neighbors had just eased up and gotten to know them a little bit.
I really feel like this would have been a really nice movie if they had followed through, had their vacation, and gotten over their empty nest syndrome in some way. Instead, the movie takes an abrupt turn halfway through, and the whole movie is just ruined. ruined.
Yeah, because then the bad guys get to be the good guys.
Because you know what? Like the first half of this movie, they're building up some pretty nice tension with this. They're
Right.
building up some really good stuff. You know, it's palpable the way they're building it up.
Yeah,
And you can feel like, ooh, it's mounting. What's going to happen next?
Yeah. It's like a comedy version of their like being stalked in their own home. Like they can't leave. They want to leave because, you know, their goal is to leave and go on this cruise. But it's like literally they can't leave the house because like the Christmas enforcers are outside. It's a whole thing.
So, getting into what this movie actually is, they initially decide they're going to go through with their Christmas plans. Initially. Because what the Kranks do, Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis here, they're going to gather all their supplies for their traditional Christmas because they usually put on a big old Christmas bash and a Christmas party and all that business. And of course, you know, Jamie Lee Curtis, what was her name? Nora in this movie?
Nora.
Yeah, Nora, she needs the supplies. So they drive to this little butcher shop that sells chocolate for some reason and all kinds of other little things that they need.
Yeah.
And as he goes in, he's just getting rained on because it's the middle of like November or something, beginning of December, somewhere around there. Yeah. And the rain is coming down hard. It's a torrential downpour.
I think it's the end of November because they just took their kid to the airport, right?
Yeah, this is just a straight up Guns N' Roses song come to life. November rain, baby.
Yep. And it's like you said, they're going through with their plans, but they're not excited about it because this year they know is going to be different because their daughter Blairy's not going to be there.
It's not going to feel right to them.
So they're just going through the motions, but it doesn't feel the same and they're not enjoying it. And it is really illustrated physically by this particular scene.
Yeah, this particular scene is very notable because it's just illustrating their feelings. And for some reason, Tim Allen's character refuses to get an umbrella that's being sold by a Santa outside the shop who tells him very, very rationally, you look like you need an umbrella. And he's not wrong, the Santa.
And his whole thing, like the whole reason he didn't want to go into the shop in the first place is he's like, oh no, I forgot my umbrella. We have to go home. And Nora's like, but I need the chocolate. I need the supplies. And he's like, but I don't have an umbrella. I'm going to get soaked. And so then she's like, fine, I'll do it. And so then he mans up and
he keeps saying that even though there's a literal there's a Santa Claus
there's an umbrella salesman that he could just ask to come over and hand him an umbrella through the window in exchange for some money.
I'm pretty confident that this Santa Claus would have been very accommodating.
Yup. Literally his job. He'd have been fine doing that.
He's out there selling umbrellas and the guy just doesn't want to buy one. And keep in mind here that the Kranks, they got a household income that looks like let's frame this here. They can afford to forget that they have spent $6,000+ on Christmas every year.
So they can certainly afford to forget that they spent $20 on an umbrella.
Yeah, if that.
Oh God, the way you put that, I just realized, this is probably giving it too much credit, but what if the metaphor is supposed to be, why didn't you just celebrate Christmas when Christmas is right there in front of you and everybody's trying to help you celebrate Christmas and you're just refusing to celebrate Christmas? You're skipping Christmas like you're skipping the umbrella.
It's too much credit for this movie. Shut up. Get out of here. You're not in the frame anymore. You don't get to be in the review.
And like you
You're
said,
done.
Chris Columbus is competent, so you had to assume that he was going for something with this movie.
God,
especially because Santa's like kind of
that just ruined my life.
Prominent tertiary character in this.
Oh my God. Yes, unfortunately, Santa Claus is in this movie in a very small way.
Periodically. He at least follows your rule of 3, possibly more.
Yeah, he pops up 3 times.
Yeah.
Albeit the couple of times that we see him, the last 2 times, he's not in his Santa outfit.
Yeah, but he's the same person.
Yes, he's the same person, so at least he shows up.
Right.
And he's played by the dad from Mr. Nanny.
Oh. I knew him from somewhere.
I hadn't seen this guy in movies in forever. I was wondering whatever happened to him. And then he crops up in Christmas with the Kranks. And I say, wow, it's nice to see you, bud.
He's still around then. All right.
I don't know if he's still alive now, but he was in 2004.
Okay. Anyway, Santa is telling him, buddy, you really need an umbrella.
And he does. Santa's not wrong.
Yeah, but Tim Allen, Luther is his name.
Yeah, Luther.
He's stubbornly like, you know what? I can't get any. And as he's about to say wetter, this awning dumps like a kitty-sized swimming pool amount of water all over him.
Proving him wrong yet again.
Yes, sir, you absolutely can't get wetter. Now you're going to need to buy new shoes and possibly new chocolate.
And now comes the realization from Luther that we need to do something else with our holiday, because as he gets wet and turns around, he sees a poster from a travel agency for a cruise.
Right.
And he gets the idea, you know what we're going to do?
Yep.
We're going to go on vacation this Christmas.
We're going to go somewhere that makes us feel the opposite of cold, wet, and sad.
Yeah.
Can't be sad on a cruise.
So there they go. In the very next scene, he makes the presentation to Nora as though it's a business meeting.
I love this scene. Okay.
He even gets out the portfolio with all the numbers and shit.
This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie because he's like eyeballing her across dinner, trying not to smile because he knows he's got a scheme, right? And Nora's looking at him, and I think her thing was, it's not even Saturday because she thinks he wants to get busy, right?
Nora is dressed like a frumpy school teacher.
She's unbuttoning her sweater. She's fluffing up her hair. She thinks she's about to get some. And he, like, leaves the room, and she's all excited. He comes back. He's got, like, his little boombox playing the Hawaiian music. He's got his Hawaiian shirt. He's doing a little dance. He clears off the table, and she gets ready. She takes off her vest, gets ready to get on the table, and he's like, what are you doing? Sit down. And he spreads out his spreadsheets about how they can go on this cruise and save money.
She is bummed.
She really is. She was like, ooh, free Saturday night.
She was really looking forward to getting laid.
Right. Apparently Luther must bring it.
Unfortunately, well, or fortunately, depending on your point of view, he's got a little presentation for her where he explains that they spend $6,000 a year and they're actually going to save money by going on this cruise because it's only $3,000.
Yep, it's like half the cost of Christmas. And then he's like, the trade-off, though, is that it's a total boycott, which really doesn't make sense.
Why would you want to do like a total boycott? You don't have to stop giving to charity just because you have a plan to go on vacation.
I gotta say, especially when like a grand or so of your Christmas expenses were charity, and your wife's like, I don't know if it's her job or if she's like a prominent volunteer, but she definitely works at like a cancer ward at the hospital.
Oh, she's definitely just a volunteer. She doesn't have, I don't think she has any work.
Okay, but she's like a regular volunteer, and like she reads to the kids, and she appears to do some of the paperwork, and like she serves at the cafeteria, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so right here is some real Ebenezer Scrooge shit, where he's deciding, oh, I'm not going to give to charity. Total boycott.
Right.
Well, dude, just don't buy all your Christmas crap. You can still give to charity.
Yeah, I guess you could still come out ahead if it's a $3,000 cruise and you spend even, like $1,500 on charity. You're still coming out like $1,500 ahead or whatever. It would have been fine. And you could have even gotten away with a total boycott if you lived in like New York or something, like in a city. But they live in the suburbs with clearly very nosy neighbors. You're not going to get away with being that kind of Scrooge. And you know that, especially if you plan to stay there.
So here's the thing. He like stiffs, like, I think the hospital.
Yep.
He stiffs the
police union.
The police union who are raising money to donate toys and
toys for
and
tots
food and stuff,
that sort of thing. Yep.
Yeah, they're doing a whole big thing where they're giving out to the community.
Yeah.
It's not even like they're asking for donations for like the actual police union or anything.
Yeah. It's just like the police union collects money for particular charities, and they do it by selling their like calendar that they make. Like, you know how like firemen do their like sexy calendars.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a nudie calendar, but it was like a sexy policeman calendar, because like the opening shot was one of them like doing the Burt Reynolds in his cop uniform on top of the cop car, like silly stuff.
So yeah, they stiff everyone, and naturally everyone's a little miffed. Now some of these people are really unprofessional about how miffed they are, especially the greeting card fellow.
Yes, the Christmas card guy. He goes up to her table while she's having lunch and like rats her out to her friends like, she's not doing Christmas cards. She's not having a holiday party. And then he goes to the table behind her and starts pointing at her like, she's not doing Christmas cards. She's not having a holiday party.
He does this the whole scene. He doesn't leave the restaurant. The manager doesn't come out and tell him, you gotta go.
Table to table. He's not even there to eat. He's just there to spread gossip like a plague.
Like, what the hell, dude?
Right.
Is this how he gets his business?
Mm-hmm.
He might get fired.
You didn't buy a greeting card, I heard.
We're gonna spread some gossip now. Excuse me while I join these ladies for lunch.
Right?
At the table across from you.
Wow. It was so intense. Like, super rude.
God.
Super rude. And, like, also unprofessional of the police to have been going door to door expecting people to buy their calendars. And then when the Kranks didn't buy their calendar, when they went to their neighbors, he's gossiping to the neighbor, like, Kranks didn't buy their calendar this year. They stiffed the kids. Like, no, they didn't stiff the kids. They stiffed you. Like, they did still, I think, end up because Nora put her foot down about the cruise. Like, I think he still had to match his hospital donation and then one other donation.
Yeah, he
for
still
like
had
$600 or something.
In the
church, I think the church and the hospital.
In the end, Nora did have her way because she said she wasn't gonna go on the cruise unless he did his charitable donations.
Yep. And that's another reason why they make good money, because if you're making a several $100 charitable donation, like, to several different organizations, you're making good money.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's at least like $1,000 in donations.
Like I said, Luther's got to be pulling down somewhere in the ballpark of six figures to be blowing money the way he does.
Yep. I like his part where he's like, we spent $63 on ornament repair. And I'm looking at that like, ornament repair is a thing?
Yeah, I didn't even know that existed. People get their ornaments repaired.
Right? Like
usually
an ornament cobbler?
When an ornament gets broken, we just throw it away, dude.
Right.
Because it's going to cost more to repair it than it is just going to replace it.
Yeah. So it's like, at first, I feel like Luther was being a little bit of a dick, especially when he types up his little Christmas memo and hands it out to his employees about like, I will not be celebrating Christmas this year. I will not give you a gift. I will not accept a gift. I'm not going to the holiday party. Leave me alone. I will not say bah humbug, though.
I don't understand the mindset of people like him where they have to write out a big, long memo to say this kind of thing where, why doesn't he just do it? Just don't bring it up. And if someone asks, then you can say it. Right?
So it's like, at first, I'm like, okay, they're a little bit rude about it, but they're still not wrong. And then it's like, as the neighbors get more aggressive, I get more and more on the side of the Kranks. Like, the Kranks were right. They weren't wrong to want to, like, go and celebrate Christmas or not celebrate Christmas their own way.
Of course they're not wrong. They have every right to go on their vacation and do whatever they want for the holidays, just as anyone else does.
Right.
They have no obligation to put a stupid Frosty on their roof.
Right. Okay, yeah, which the very aggressive Christmas cheer enforcement team wants them to do.
Like the homeowner association. Forget that.
Yeah.
We got the Christmas Association.
Yeah, they're going to hand out the season's beatings if you don't put Frosty up on the roof.
And God help you if you don't celebrate Christmas in this neighborhood, or else they're going to run you right out.
Right. Like, literally, there's a scene where these carolers come through and the Kranks don't have decorations up like everybody else in the neighborhood, and they, like, quietly whisper like it's a crime, like, are they Jewish? Are they...
What if they are?
Are they Buddhist? Like... what if they are? Like,
this movie doesn't even dare to open up the can of worms that, surprise, Jewish people and Muslim people celebrate Christmas too.
I don't even think they dared ask if they were atheist.
And also, atheist people celebrate Christmas. Everybody celebrates Christmas now, dude, because it's a pretty secular holiday these days.
Right.
It's kind of evolved past, the whole Jesus' birthday thing.
Mm-hmm.
To more of a general, cheer and goodwill and gift-giving holiday.
Mm-hmm. Everybody likes presents. Who doesn't? Yeah.
Santa Claus, everybody's getting in on it now. It's just the way it is these days.
Right.
Well, that was a can of worms Christmas to the Kranks didn't want to touch.
Yep. But, so the neighbors are like, nope, they're just ignoring Christmas.
Yep.
Go aggressively carol at them while I get the neighbors to help. And it's like, they get louder and faster, and they get to the point where they're, like, peeking through the windows, like, why aren't you appreciating my caroling? And it's so uncomfortably aggressive. Like, I hate feeling uncomfortable in my own house.
They literally went up to the window while they were quietly reading, after they had already started shouting at the top of their lungs these stupid carols faster and faster.
Yep. It was like I don't know if they checked if the doors were locked, but they like pulled their curtains, turned the lights off, and got chased into their own basement.
It was obnoxious. I'm at the point here where I'm wondering, why don't they call the police? They hadn't stiffed them yet.
Yeah. No, actually.
Did they stiff them?
Yeah, they did at that point, because he's like, oh, I'm going to call the police. They're trespassing. And she's like, yeah, going to call your buddies of the police union?
Okay.
Yeah. When they should have called the police because they hadn't stiffed them yet is when they were freaking Nora out when she was home alone.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Then they should have called the cops.
They were aggressively trying to free Frosty while Nora was home alone and Luther was at work.
And it chased her out of her house. She was like scared. She's running. And then Dan Aykroyd's character, what's his name? Vic Frohmeyer.
Yep.
He latches onto her car window.
Who does that?
While it's moving. And of course she doesn't stop because she's freaking out because she's a woman and there's a full-grown man trying to get into her car.
The whole neighborhood is in on it too. They're like shouting at Vic, hey, she's driving away.
Stop, right? It was ridiculous. They're stalking them. At
this point, I'm thinking, Luther, you might want to go get yourself a rifle, bud.
Right?
You might want some home defense on your hands.
Also, if these people are that passionate about Christmas, why wouldn't they get inflatable Frosties? Like, this Frosty was not meant to go up on a roof.
Yeah, the thing about this is they're pulling the Frosty up on the roof finally.
Yeah, it looks like it's like glass or porcelain or something.
Yeah. When you see the Frosty, it's not even like a blow-up Frosty at all. It's really, really heavy, and you have to drag it up using like a fulcrum.
Yeah, it was like a full rope noose he used to pull it up. As he's pulling it up like the side of the roof, it's like pulling shingles up because it's a hard thing, and there's a point where it falls off the roof because it's a flat bottom and the roof is a triangle.
What the hell kind of setup is this?
Right? It shatters when it hits the ground, so it's obviously not meant to be like, suspended from a height or anything like that.
I'm looking at this thinking, why the hell are they putting Frosty on the roof when Frosty is flat and the roof is got a right angle?
Right? If Frosty was meant to go on the roof, he'd have a butt crack on the bottom of him, but he doesn't. So he's meant to be on the ground where things are flat.
Duh. It's not a hard concept to get a hold of.
It's really not.
They didn't even really show a base where he could sit on top of the roof if he's supposed to go up there. Mm-hmm. And why would you even want to put him up there anyway if he's so heavy? It's very obviously going to be a huge liability if it suddenly goes loose and falls on somebody.
Right? Okay, and I want to know two things about Frosty. How much does he cost? No, three things about Frosty. How much does he cost to light?
Well, apparently the whole neighborhood's got to have one.
How much does he cost to buy? And who's making them? Because in the very last scene, like, they pan out and you can see the whole neighborhood, and there's like 100 Frosties. Like, so many Frosties.
Can you just imagine, like, this neighborhood enacting like a millage to get every house a Frosty? Right. Did that really pass? Of course, Vic Frohmeyer apparently has some reach, so he could have gone through and been like, you're gonna vote yes on this. He probably walks into every voting booth and says, you're getting Frosty, right?
Yup.
And he's got like a couple of goons on either side of him, watching as this person marks their ballot.
Need me to help you put them on your roof.
And I like to joke that that in this movie, Dan Aykroyd is just playing Dan Aykroyd. He's not really acting. Like, he's really got all these connections in real life.
Yeah, he's obnoxious about it, by the way. It's a terrible quality.
Dan Aykroyd, founding father of comedy.
He's the definition of that, like, tweet about there's no joy like doing a bit that your partner despises. I hate it.
I do several of those bits.
He calls Dan Aykroyd the founding father of comedy, and he's not even old enough for that. Get out of here. Can't Columbus comedy.
I'm sorry.
So the more aggressive Dan Aykroyd, who apparently is not Vic Frohmeyer, the more aggressive Dan Aykroyd gets about his Christmas enforcement, the more aggressive that the Kranks get about not celebrating any bit of Christmas. Because at this point, it's like a little battle of the wills and like personal pride, and less about like whether or not they actually care about putting up Frosty, right? Like, it's the principle of the thing, and about I can decide, I'm a grown man, I can decide what to do in my house and with my life.
Yeah, and it's all very rational,
right?
on the Kranks part,
right?
And they have a right to be as angry as they're getting.
Yep. And it's all well and good, and they could have gone on the cruise and dealt with the blowout when they came back. Except then their daughter calls them again.
Oh God!
Without warning them. Just telling them that she's bought a ticket home. And oh, by the way, she's bringing her new fiancé, the guy she went to shack up with in South America.
Mind you, she calls them the day that she's coming back.
Yeah.
She surprises them with it and assumes, of course, that they're going to do their annual Christmas party.
Yep.
She makes a whole list of assumptions where
Yep.
If they had in a rational world, they would have told him, "Honey, we got plans. You're free to come home, but we got stuff we got to do."
Right? Yeah. Okay, I don't know how old I was exactly when I realized that my parents were their own people with their own hobbies and not just my parents like full-time focus on,
How old is this? How old is this girl?
Okay, she graduated college.
Okay, so she's in her 20s.
Yeah, she's at least 22.
And they're treating her like she's a goddamn 5-year-old and hasn't experienced the magic of Christmas ever.
Yeah, like does she also think Santa is real?
Well, apparently he is real.
Is she? Okay, yeah. Well,
so that you can't fault them for saying Santa's real in this movie.
Touche. But yeah, why didn't they just tell her, like, honey, things are different now that you're not here. We decided to celebrate differently. We have plans. Like, if you want to come here and throw the party yourself, cool. You've got the keys, but we ain't gonna be here. And that should have been fine. It's not like she doesn't also know the neighbors. They make a point of saying, oh, Blair babysat all of our kids and makes us feel like family. They're obviously close to her.
Yeah. So what's the BFD about them going on vacation and what, Blair?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blair just having a Christmas party all by her damn self.
Right.
Or is she incapable of handling all that?
Yeah, or why doesn't she just, like, take him to one of the neighbors who are obviously super into Christmas and will probably be having a Christmas party?
Why don't they just stay with Vic Frohmeyer? Right. Apparently he's got it handled.
Yeah, and, like, all of the ham is bought out of the supermarket. Blair's favorite hickory honey ham.
Like, why do they love this ham so much?
This canned ham. It's a giant Spam ham.
It's a glorified can of Spam is what it is.
Extra large can. Mildly shaped like a ham.
Like, dude, just go to go somewhere and just buy a goddamn ham.
Right?
There's other hams besides hickory honey ham.
Right? But, like, also, if they're all gone from the local supermarket, then obviously one of the neighbors is making them. Yeah. So, again, you could give them that full Christmas and, like, whether or not your parents are there has nothing to do with whether or not Enrique can see a white Christmas. Like, it's not, it snows if it's gonna snow. That has nothing to do with whether or not your parents are home.
Yeah.
So, like, every single one of those things that she wanted to see, a frosty on the roof, a Christmas tree, snow, eating a Christmas dinner, they all could have been accomplished by her just flying there, staying at their house, and going to a neighbor's for a Christmas party.
Yeah. She could have accomplished all by herself.
Right, yeah, like a grown-up, especially if you think you're mature enough to be getting married.
Oh, I'm bringing my... Enrique needs to experience a white Christmas. You know what? The people who go on about white Christmases have never actually had to shovel a driveway.
Right? Yeah, okay, Enrique, you're coming over for 10 days, you're going to shovel for 10 days.
And I guarantee you, Enrique will not think much of a white Christmas after he has to handle a shovel once or twice. Because, believe me, shoveling snow sucks.
Shoveling snow sucks, driving in snow sucks.
Nothing about a white Christmas is good.
Yup. I got into a real bad accident a few years ago trying to drive in the snow. I hit a semi-truck. It sucked.
Yeah, that was a real white Christmas.
Yup.
It was almost a red Christmas.
Yup. Very nearly.
Ugh.
Should have told that bitch to stay in South America.
Yeah. She should have just had Christmas with his family.
Right? Yeah. And then, okay, especially because, like, you just stated that you're going to get married, so, like, he can have his white Christmas the next year. Like, you think you've got your whole lives in front of you, so maybe come back next year.
Yeah, maybe next year's a better deal, because then you're not springing it on your family last minute.
Yeah.
I'm not going to expect people to drop everything, like, an hour before I come home.
Right?
You kidding me?
And okay, and also, I mean, I get that it's her parents, but, like, who just invites themselves to a party when you've already been like, I'm not going to be there. Not going to be there, not coming back for a year. See you next Christmas, not this Christmas.
So I was just, I was a little bothered that they didn't, stand up to their daughter.
Yeah, that she still expected them to be making her favorite food and her favorite pie and literally everything else exactly the same as if she was there. Be like, what if nobody else likes caramel cream pie?
Also, did Nora only go to one supermarket?
Yes, because she knows the butcher and they put things aside for her.
So
and
what?
The liquor store, too. She also goes to the liquor store.
If they didn't have the hickory honey ham at the one she went to, why didn't she just go to another one? Because one of them's going to have something eventually.
That's a great
question.
There's
no reason you have to have smoked trout.
Yeah, there's no reason you had to pay enough to start a child's college fund at the cash register for the last honey ham at the store.
She's throwing like 4 figures at this family who got a hickory honey ham.
Right.
And, why? Why?
I don't know.
You could just go anywhere. Get anything else. You can just get a regular ham. You don't need canned ham.
Right. And then the funniest thing is that after they spend like several scenes establishing how important the hickory honey ham is to Blair's Christmas and how well the neighbors know her. Like when Vic Frohmeyer is standing up at the truck and announcing to the neighborhood that they need to help save her Christmas party. They're like, who has a turkey? Does anybody have a turkey? And they're like, I have 2. Great, 2 turkeys. Bring them over. And they never mention, who has the hickory honey ham? Who bought that? Bring it.
Instead, Santa Claus brings it.
Yeah, Santa Claus just brings it because Santa knows what you need. You need an umbrella. You need a hickory honey ham.
Santa Claus got you covered. In this case, you didn't need to spend 4 figures on a can of ham.
Yep.
They got run over by a semi anyway.
Right. And then it was just gelatinous. You could tell there was no real meat in there.
It looked gross anyway. Who
really
the hell
did.
wants to eat that?
It looked pretty bad.
Also, if she was going to... Why didn't she just get Spam?
Yeah, you get like 15 cans of Spam and you cook them all together. It's going to be exactly the
She'll
same.
never know the difference.
She won't. She won't.
There's a reason it's a delicacy in Hawaii. No one knows the difference.
I'm not sure that's why. I feel like they told me it's because the soldiers brought it there and
yes,
it's
because the soldiers brought it there and it just...
And it became cultural because they made it more delicious than the soldiers were making it.
Yes, as is always the case in Hawaii. They do everything better.
Oh God, the food there is delicious.
Well, yes, by the way, Santa, we've already mentioned several times, but Santa is real.
Yes, and then they like make it real clear at the end because it's like, I mean, they've hinted it because he knows what you need and he knows everybody's names even though nobody knows who he is. But then they throw you for a loop because they give him a regular person name. They call him Marty, not like Nick or anything like that.
Marty runs into Nora at one of the local convenience stores.
Yeah.
While she's buying booze and stuff, and he just acts like he knows her, and she has no idea who he is.
Yeah. He knows where she lives.
And she even invites him to the Christmas party.
Yeah, because she just assumes she's a bad friend and forgot his name.
And he apparently is a very nice man. He even brings the hickory honey ham that she
could not find.
She could not find. Well, she found it, but she got it ran over.
Yes.
So this is a nice consolation prize.
Yes. And then they never even cook it. They bring it to the neighbors. That present made no sense. Why wouldn't they bring them one of the turkeys? Especially when you find out she's allergic to ham.
2 turkeys. Yeah. Luther brings the ham over to the neighbors across the street who have this cat that he is constantly fighting with. And the neighbors, one of which, the husband, is played by M. Emmett Walsh, I think is his name. And he's an absolute curmudgeon. His wife is very nice, but his wife is a vegetarian and he's allergic to ham. So why they got the hickory honey ham, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he leaves the hickory honey ham there and they keep it. And I'm just looking at this movie thinking, well, if you're allergic and she's not going to eat it, why the hell are you keeping it?
Right. Especially because is it still going to be good after spending 10 days in your fridge while you're on vacation?
Dude, just give it back if you can't use it at all.
Right? Blair loves it. Also, a ham is a bit much for that old couple to make. Like, that's heavy. Like, there's a reason my grandma stopped making it, and that lady's got no energy because she's got cancer, and she's a vegetarian, so why is he gonna bother making it for her? Like, it was so much. There was so much bad about that.
Yeah, it's... This movie is just like a whole mess full of contradictions and bad logic.
It was a terrible regift.
And the person who made it was not a particularly good filmmaker, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the grace of Christopher Columbus writing the script is the only reason it had any laughs.
Well, they kept just enough of Chris Columbus in it.
Yeah, it's just enough of Chris Columbus in here to make you laugh.
Yep. I wonder.
Chris Columbus, he's a good director. He just directed The Christmas Chronicles 2.
Oh.
And I'm not going to say it's as good as The Christmas Chronicles, but it's still a pretty competent movie.
You watched it without me?
My mother and I watched it.
Rude.
Well, it debuted like 2 weeks ago.
The rudeness. Rude.
Yeah.
Rude.
Yeah.
So Santa, at some point he cuts out of the Christmas party because he's like, Santa always has to work on Christmas Eve. This weather is great for business. As though he's going to go sell umbrellas. But then he drives off in his little bug and then hooks them up to the reindeer and goes flying off. And the sleigh is his little VW bug.
It's implied that the bug is going to transform at some point.
Oh, is that what it was supposed to be?
I think it's supposed to be the implication. And then if that's not enough magic, as the camera pulls back through the neighborhood to show all the Frosties and all the rooftops, one of the Frosty turns around and waves.
The end.
Christmas magic.
The end.
Ugh. Yeah, this movie sucked. Like, don't get me wrong, it had some laughs, but oh my god.
I'm curious what other people thought of it.
Yeah, so let's go straight into our Amazon reviews now. As always, we've culled some Amazon reviews. We've got 3 5-star reviews and 3 1-star reviews, and we start with the 5-star reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Can't hardly wait. Let's see what we got. Okay. Our first 5-star review comes from Cloud Mom, who says, just plain humorous. Dislike? None. Like the whole idea. Except for celebrating the holy birth of Jesus, the rest of Christmas is overdone.
Okay.
What has Frosty the Snowman have to do with the birth of Christ, or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, or the whole Santa concept, which has become so socially commercialized, or fruitcake, etc., etc.? I love giving from the heart, and I loathe how children especially are not taught the real reason for Christmas.
Why is fruitcake lumped in there with commercialization? I couldn't hold that in anymore. What?
Oh my god. At times like the Kranks, I would totally love to ignore the commercialism and one-upsmanship, housing decorations, who gets to go to whose party. But this movie is totally humorous. God damn, did this person graduate from, like, 5th grade?
They're drunk on the humor.
Yeah. But this movie is totally humorous depiction of the craziness that many people do to celebrate of holiday. Stellar writing skills there, Cloud Mom.
That was certainly an opinion.
Yeah, it was opinion. It was a bad opinion, but it was opinion. And our next one comes from Patinka, who says, funny classic. I used it for my ESL class with foreign students to show a bit of Christmas traditions in a funny way.
Wow. They're going to have a extra fucked idea of what an American Christmas looks like.
Pretty sure those foreign students are going to have a pretty salty opinion of Christmas after watching this.
Right? Wow. Cool.
Oh, okay. And our last 5-star review comes from Roberto. It says, an excellent family movie.
This is a movie that you can watch in family, and has a beautiful message. Don't skip Christmas, because Christmas is to share with your family. What?
What indeed? Oh, God.
That was, circular.
Yes. Now, let's go to our dissenting opinions and see what they have to say about Christmas with the Kranks.
All right.
Our first review comes from Art Spiker, who says, Tim Allen is ruining Christmas for me.
Ouch.
Why, oh why, do they keep placing redneck Tim Allen in Christmas movies? He can't act, and he is disgusting.
Ouch! We got another person ripping Tim Allen a new asshole.
I am ashamed of Jamie Lee Curtis for reducing herself to this garbage.
Aww.
I can understand Tim Allen thinking this was a good script.
Do you need me to finish it?
No. The producer probably mailed the script to him as a coloring book with pictures.
Oh my god!
But I had higher expectations from Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
I have to say I usually love her, but she was awful in this film.
She was not.
She is reduced to whining and crying.
Yeah, I felt bad for what she had to do.
She does little else besides agreeing to everything her caveman husband tells her. Tim Allen was awful from day one in his redneck middle America sitcom.
Oh my god.
And to this day retains that disgusting, overweight, burping middle America character.
Oh my god.
Why do they keep putting him in Christmas films? It really does nauseate me to no ends to see him playing Santa Claus.
Oh my god. Okay, was this written by the same person who wrote the last one that ripped into Tim Allen?
I think this is the last one. This is like written by the guy that Tim Allen snitched on to get out of prison.
Yeah, okay. It's like, is this the same guy with that vendetta? Tim Allen is ruining Christmas. Jesus. Okay, I will agree with this person, though, on the point that all of the women are, like, supposed to be perfect in this.
Oh, I know.
Like, we don't get any dimension. She's, like, the doting housewife who misses her daughter because she's the perfect mother who knows how to cook and donates to charity and literally volunteers her time there and is friends with everyone. And, like, the neighbor lady is just the sweet old lady with a cat and some cancer. And, you know, like, all of the women in the daughter is supposed to be perfect, if a little naive. It's boring.
It's kind of a sappy movie.
Boring. None of the women get to be the villains.
Well, let's look at our next review from Pennywise, who says, might as well flush your money in a public toilet.
Ouch.
This has got to be one of the worst holiday movies ever. Save your money and time. You would probably enjoy watching your Christmas tree catch fire in the living room or finding reindeer doo-doo in your stocking more than watching this. Anyone who gives this movie more than 1 star probably gives out fruitcakes for presents and is a fruit him herself.
Another hit on fruitcakes.
What? Good God.
Wow.
Oh, this was a horrible review. It was really raked the poor movie over the fires. I don't know if it was that bad. I don't think this is a good movie, but
right.
that was some stiff criticism there, Pennywise.
Right.
Good Lord. And our last 1-star review comes from 556, who says, this movie makes Britney Spears look like a success story.
Oh, her story is actually really sad.
Poor Britney.
All right. Free Britney! I've never hated anything more in my life than this film. It is a blasphemy to call it a real movie. Whoever wrote this movie, Jesus most... I was not expecting that! Excuse me!
Finish it.
I can't.
Say it.
This is extra funny to me because I grew up Catholic. Oh my god. What? I can do it. Oh my god, I'm crying.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote this movie, I can't do it. Jesus most definitely did not die for your sins. Satan himself endorsed this god-awful abortion of a film. I just burned my hand on a 450-degree oven, and it felt better than watching Tim Allen make a complete mockery of the film industry. If you buy and or watch this movie, you are supporting AIDS, terrorism, and the anarchy of all governments. And you hate children, too. Enjoy! Smiley face. 2 people found that helpful.
The person who wrote that is a legend. 556 had the best opinion of the whole bunch, I think. That maybe Art Spiker. I wonder if this is Art Spiker's alter ego.
Oh my god, that was too much.
It started with a knock against Britney, but ended with a bang.
Oh my god. Oh Oh, that was the hardest I've laughed in a while.
Amazon reviews, everyone. Holy hell.
Wow, that was a special batch you found.
Yeah, those were pretty gnarly. It's not often we get some that, just kind of rail Tim Allen like that.
Wow. Poor Tim Allen. This is why you should never read the comments about you, because the internet is a mean place full of mean, spiteful people.
The only other person who's gotten railed even remotely like Tim Allen has got to be Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, oh, poor Keanu Reeves. Yeah, you were the one railing him.
But even Keanu didn't get it like Tim Allen just did right here.
Wow. Wow.
The worst they said about Keanu is that he can't act, and, well, he's not that great of an actor, but he's okay.
Right, but Tim Allen, they basically did the self-esteem version of taking your body and flipping it inside out.
What do we learn from this movie?
I learned don't read the comments section.
Or else you're gonna be...
a sad potato.
You won't like yourself much longer.
Right. I learned that my homeowner association can force me to put up a 7-foot frosty on my roof, even if I don't want to or can't.
I learned you can never spend too much on Christmas, even if it's 4 figures on a can of Spam.
Yep. I learned you can get your ornaments repaired.
I learned you can freeze a cat with your hose.
Oh, I learned you will not get in trouble if you trip a dozen people in front of your house by making it too icy.
Dude, how did he not get in deep doo-doo for that?
Right. You're telling me the kind of neighborhood that enforces the frosty on the roof policy doesn't enforce a salt your sidewalk policy?
Feel like Vic Frohmeyer should have had a bone to pick with him about the sidewalk.
Right.
Like the only reason that he should have had a bone to pick with him.
Yep.
What else did I learn from this movie?
I don't know.
Oh, I learned that every child has a police radio.
Oh, yeah. That they don't bring up until you need it.
I learned that police give escorts.
Right. Very slow escorts. And I learned that apparently nobody knows how to spell Enrique.
Well, actually, I should rephrase that. I learned the police moonlight as chauffeurs.
Free chauffeurs. But only if you donate.
You have no idea how much your father donated.
We'll buy many children presents.
Well, life lessons from Christmas with the Kranks, everybody.
Right? Ugh.
Well, what's your final rating for Christmas with the Kranks, do you think?
I'm gonna give it a canned ham. As the apparently star dish. I'm gonna give it The World's Dumbest Burglar, which is a true nod to Chris Columbus. And then I will also give it A Girl That Really Needs to Date Her Boyfriend a couple months longer.
I will give this movie a bad tan.
Okay. Ooh.
A face full of Botox.
Uh-huh.
And a bare spruce.
Yeah, why did he buy that?
Yeah.
Poor purchase.
Yeah, like these Boy Scouts were selling Christmas trees, and they picked out like this nice, expensive spruce tree just for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be $75 or something.
Which is not that bad, really.
Yeah, it wasn't really bad. And he turned it down because, I'm not going to
celebrating Christmas. Just gonna go dry in my house for 10 days.
Yeah, it's completely impractical.
Yeah.
So eventually he decides at the very last minute after Blair calls, gotta get a Christmas tree. He goes there, and all they have left is this bare number that has no business being on the lot.
Yep. And that he hits with his car and hurts, and then also straps to the top of his car.
And then he pays $75 for it anyway.
Supply and demand.
And then when he comes home, he just takes it off the roof of his car and throws it up into the lawn.
Because he strapped it to the top of his car, knowing it was super dry, and by the time he got home, it had literally not one needle left on it. It was just an ugly little thing. It was not even a Charlie Brown Christmas tree anymore.
So what's even the point?
I don't know. Well, I think his point was to try not to get his ass kicked by his wife.
Instead, he borrows a Christmas tree from his neighbor across the street.
And gets his ass kicked by his wife.
These aren't our ornaments.
Right?
Oh, what a dumb movie. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say go ahead and watch it at least once. I'm not gonna say this is gonna be one that you're gonna be rewarded with by viewing it repeatedly, like me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth seeing it just once because you're gonna have a little bit of fun with it. It doesn't teach you any good moral lessons or anything. It's the moral lessons in this movie are just garbage.
Yes, be prepared to root for the Kranks and also feel bad for them having to cave.
But it does have some laughs.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, I gotta say go ahead and give it a watch.
Yeah, it's like a good 60%, maybe.
I'd give it a 5 out of 10.
Okay. That's all right.
Yeah.
So Olympic score ratings, then give it a 5.5.
I'm feeling really generous giving it the 5 out of 10. I might give it 4 out of 10 instead.
Okay. Which would average it out to a 5. So that's fine. That's like an average movie.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you to see it.
But yeah, you don't get obsessed with it. Don't try to choke it down more than once.
Yeah, it's not one for repeat viewing. At least not more than once per year.
It really does get a little boring around the second half where they're finally scrambling to try to put this perfect Christmas together after Blair calls.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that plot point really sucks.
Yeah.
By the way, this is based on Skipping Christmas by John Grisham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can tell that they intended to use that title because several times they used the phrase skipping Christmas and skip Christmas. And
it would have been a better title.
Yeah, and the music gets dramatic every time they say we're skipping Christmas. And like they kind of hang on the moment. So you can tell that was the working title and they maybe just couldn't get the rights.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't make any sense that they wouldn't be able to get the rights because that was the title of the book.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if there was another movie that was already coming out by that name.
It probably was. That's probably it. Because Christmas of the Kranks is just a dumb name.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't describe it at all.
Mm-hmm. And nobody ever says that phrase.
No.
It would have made more sense to, even if anything, call it Christmas without the Kranks. Because they weren't supposed to be there.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that. Well, that's about all the thought this movie deserves for a movie that sucks back from 2004. So, with that, I think that's enough of Christmas with the Kranks.
I guess so.
Next time, I don't think we've made any decisions about what we're going to watch next.
What are my choices?
I don't know. Merry Friggin' Christmas is on. That's got lousy reviews, but that, I think that's not too bad of a movie. It's one of Robin Williams' last movies.
Oh, I think I've seen it.
Anyway, we got some choices out there. We haven't made any decisions yet, but when we finally make a decision on this one, we'll let you know.
Okay.
And we'll be back with some more Christmas. Because this is the season, right?
It is.
Anyway, be sure you check out our Spotify page, also our Audible page.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunate Case Movie. You can listen to our podcast there, our current ones. And then you can also watch the video that goes along with this on YouTube. Again, Unfortunate Case of Movie. And if you want to follow us on Twitter, our Twitter handle is Case of Movie, @CaseOfMovie, where you can just hear about all of our opinions about the movies we watch as we go along, because we don't always review things as we watch them.
Correct.
Sometimes we just watch good movies too.
Mostly because I insist.
Yes,
well, you've got a higher tolerance for the bullshit than I do.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have to be careful with that sort of thing because it made me crack a little while ago.
It really did. And you knew it and you kept going. You'd be like, man, watching this movie is breaking my brain. And then you'd be like, time for another viewing. Like, you know how some people will send like 2 text messages in a row? Yeah, that's how it would be. It'd be like, man, I really shouldn't watch this again. It's starting to mess with me, give me nightmares or whatever. And then he's like, all right, time to watch it again.
Remember I watched Just Friends every day for like 2 weeks?
That's the one I'm talking about. It's like, why?
I'm just
Stop!
It's like, I don't even know why I was watching it.
Right? Why focus on Ryan Reynolds' worst movie?
And
maybe second worst movie.
And that's like a Christmas movie too.
Okay, if that one gets to be a Christmas movie, Die Hard definitely gets to be a Christmas movie.
Well, the Christmas is more forefront in Just Friends than Die Hard.
They're literally at a Christmas party.
Yeah, they're at a Christmas party, but Christmas isn't one of the central themes of the movie.
The central theme of the movie is that he realized he shouldn't have been at that Christmas party. He should have been having Christmas with his actual family.
in Die Hard?
Yes.
His family was trapped inside Nakatomi Plaza.
And he wished he'd been home with them instead.
Yeah, no kidding, because he's fighting a bunch of terrorists.
Yes. But he was there at like a work party.
He went there just to reconcile with his wife.
Okay, whatever. Christmas movie.
Even his director doesn't think it's a Christmas movie.
The director's fucking wrong. Christmas movie. Takes place on Christmas. Superior Christmas movie.
The people who confuse setting with actual plot. Ba-doom-tsh. All right. We'll make the big decision and we'll tell you all later. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time, with love from us to you, we'll see you soon. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.